What's going on, you guys? Charles here from the Traders Corner, back with another video. And if you're a trader out there trying to build a strategy on your own without using the help of a course or a mentor, this video is going to be for you. Today we're going to be talking about a basic template or a model that I use to develop all new strategies that I might look at, whether they be coming from a mentor or something I completely make up by myself. I always make sure that I have these things in my strategy to make sure that I'm hitting on all the points I need to hit on, to make sure that I'm actually trading the way that needs to be traded and following a defined, repeatable set of rules. So I hope you enjoy it, hope it provides some value. Please take some time to like and subscribe if you enjoy it. We would really appreciate it. But let's get into it. What's going on, you guys? Charles here from the Traders Corner. Today we're going to be looking at a very important topic, just a very quick one, and that's actually how to go about setting up your trading strategy. And this is not an exhaustive, this is the only way to do this. This is essentially one way to do it, and it's a way that I've found to be very helpful. Just template model for setting up a new strategy or tweaking a strategy or anything like that, right? So let's just get started and stop talking about it. All right. So like I said, my name is Charles and this is the Traders Corner. Today we're going to be looking at a strategy model template that you could take for yourself and use if you want. I'm going to leave the link in the description below. That being said, you could also just set it up very easily. It's a very, very basic thing. All you're going to have is, these essentially 6 things I think that are very important. Now, your strategy could have more, you could have less. You could maybe have some fundamental data that you want to have. You could have some, just general data that you want to pull in at all times and keep track of that. There's a lot of things that you could add to this, but I think if you have these 6 things, you're going to be setting yourself up for success, right? So that being said, what's rule number 1? What's the first thing? It's goals. Now, I'm not saying that you have to have, I need to make X amount today or X amount tomorrow or X amount on Tuesdays, Wednesday, whatever. You can have a lot of different types of goals in trading, and we can go back and forth in a debate on the types of goals you should have. Personally, I'm a firm believer that you shouldn't really have a monetary based goal because that can be hard to force in the market. And when you don't force it, the market can make you feel bad about your self-worth. Right? It can make you feel like you're not really moving towards your goal. How am I ever going to achieve my goal? Right? Now, people argue with me on that one because it's like, well, no, you need to know how much you're trying to make every single day and blah, 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 and yada, yada. So, like I said, we can go back and forth. But for me, I like to make my goals more qualitative because I want to make it outside of just making money. Because once I hit that goal of making money, what then? Right? I want to make it, more qualitative than that and outside of trading for real and really make it around what is it that trading is going to provide me. Right, so these are some of my goals, right? These are some of my goals. So just think about that. Think more. Do you want to just think about more like trading wise, very specific, trade this many times a day, trade that many times a day, all that kind of stuff, right? And the goals that you have will kind of really help you think about how to set up your trading style. And that's why I say it's like the first and foremost thing, because like I said, let's say you have a goal that you want to trade only 3 times a day or twice a day or even just once a day, right? Let's say once a day is your goal, right? And maybe even you don't even want to trade once a day. You just want to trade like 3 or 4 times a week. You're going to be trading more of a swing to position style trader, right? Probably not even position style, probably more like swing trading, right? Whereas if you want to trade more intraday and you want to, take at least a trade, if one presents a day, right? Then you're probably going to want to build more of an intraday strategy, and that's really going to shape what you might use, what indicators you might pick, all that kind of stuff. So think about your goals before you get into the goals of your trading strategy and what it is that you want it to create for you in terms of your life before you get into actually creating that strategy. Then we go into what's called the flow. I like calling it the flow because it's basically first I do this, then I do that, then I do this, then I do that, right? Now I separate this from the checklist because you'll see how it's a little bit different. But essentially, it just tells us, like I said, first I go for this one, this is this very, what I call my shake back strategy. I came back from a break. Very basic strategy. If you want the link to the description, the link to this strategy, because it's not my strategy, it's ASFX A1 entry. I'm going to leave the link in the description to ASFX below. So essentially, this is the flow, right? And it's like, are we above or below? Are we below, above, below, or blah, 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 all that kind of stuff, right? Now, there's something that I left out on this flow, but it's my strategy. And so I understood it to mean this thing, right? I didn't have to explicitly say it in the flow because I left out the idea of are we above or below the 21 EMA as well. Now, I'm only trading when the EMAs are stacked, so because of that, I knew that if we're below the 8 EMA, then we should be below the 21 EMA as well, like that kind of stuff, right? So this is the flow. It's, again, I would just go through, this is what I would run through in terms of, when I start looking at the chart for the first time. Now, moving on to the checklist. Now, I think the checklist is a little bit different because I think it changes, it's not only changing how you ask these questions, but it's also, I think it's changed in the time that you ask the question. So the flow is what I do when I sit down at the chart for the first time and I'm doing my analysis, right? Obviously I would do some pre-analysis before I get to the chart for that day, but when I sit down at the chart for the first time that day, I would go through the flow, right? But then before I place a trade, I will stop myself and go through the checklist. You see what I'm saying? So I might go through the flow, but I might not go through the checklist every day. Whenever I place a trade, I should go through the checklist. So this is the checklist. And again, it's just, some different ways of asking the questions. And it also has some more, I guess you would say, refined questions as well, right? Then we got the risk management. Now, risk management, I didn't really add it for this because it's a very simple risk management for the strategy. I always put my stops above a high or a low, a swing high or swing low, nearest one to where I'm entering, like nearest swing high, swing low to where I'm entering. Then 1% risk, 2% profit. Very simple. And this isn't the actual strategy setup because I have a bunch of other things in the OneNote where I have my actual strategy. So I just put this on the side to show you guys this template. Rule dictionary. Now again, this is the rule dictionary from the strategy that I have. What is a rule dictionary? You could also just call it rules. It's essentially, it says, okay, I talked about above, below the 8 EMA. What does that even mean? Because you could be above it with a wick. You could be above it with a close. Is it above it with a wick? Is it above it with the close? Okay, all that kind of stuff. For me, I didn't really care if we were above it with the close or a wick. I just wanted us to be above that. And obviously we needed to close. That's something that I always, it's one of those things that it's just kind of like a basic trading tenet that I have that I don't have to put in my strategies anymore. It's just I always operate from the close. I'm not going to operate from the open, like that kind of stuff, right? But again, this is the rule dictionary. So it's what is a 2 candle formation? What is a 3 candle formation? And you just make the rule dictionary really explanatory to you, right? Because this is not the way that Austin described what's called a 2 candle formation, right? But just that word probe means something to me, and it really helped me understand what it was that he was describing, right? And then screenshots. I don't have any screenshots in here. Again, this is a separate thing. So just put some screenshots in there of a good trade while you're back testing, and definitely do it while you're back testing. And you'll know a good trade from a bad one if you do enough back testing. And here's the other thing as well. Put screenshots in before you let it play out. So you should be using the replay tool on TradingView if you're using TradingView. Before you let it play out, if you decide that this is a good trade, put the screenshot in, all right? And then put a screenshot in, especially if it's a loser, because you need to see screenshots of losers to remind yourself that you are going to take losers, and that's perfectly okay. That you are going to have these picture perfect looking trades, still going to be a loser. So this is the basic strategy template. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope it provided some value. Again, if you want to download this template, check it out below. I'm going to leave a link in the description to the ASFX A1 entry as well as our own very simple strategy. It's a 5-step strategy that anybody could follow using some very simple indicators. So check that out below in the description as well. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope it provides some value. Join us again next time, man.